Hey everybody, it's me, Remy, the comic book poser, and I'm here to welcome you to Enter the Poserverse. Today is yet another in a slew of unboxing videos that I will have coming up since this is the slow week of comic releases. That's just a couple of indie books that have come out, so I may do some videos on some old books, some old titles that I kind of want to dig deeper or analyze. I figure it's time for a good old-fashioned unboxing. These come from Gorilla Todd Comics. He is out of Las Vegas, and I participated in a couple of different auctions that Todd was one of the sellers in. And Todd loves some packing peanuts. Got a nice little thank you note from doing business with Gorilla Todd. It says, "Comic book poser, thanks for the support. I really appreciate it, and let's keep our awesome hobby alive. Best GT." So, and just kind of talking to him on the side on Instagram, he seems like a pretty interesting dude, knows a lot about comics. He had a lot of pretty good deals in terms of books that he was letting to walk away for decent prices for a buy it now level price. He had books that, were undervalued in an auction, and he didn't have the same kind of mad reaction that I've seen people get if their books don't go for what they think they are. And I think he's happy, like me, to see a book that someone may be interested in going to a new home. So you can see that this is a little bit bigger because I did something during this auction that I've only done in one other auction before. This contains a slab. This is the second slab that I've purchased. It's not the first mystery slab that I've been kind of holding out for me to tell you how dumb you think I am for purchasing the slab that I did. Although that could very well become the reaction from some of you for the purchase that I made today. So I'll show you the slab last. The boys over at Comic Burrito got me hooked into the new 52 as a starting point for some characters, and there's a cluster of folks that I've been meaning to get into and do a little bit more with, and that's the Teen Titans. So I have new 52 Teen Titans number 1. Number 2, introducing Skitter. Number 3, sorry, I'm trying to avoid the glare, there we go. Number 4, Superboy Wonder Girl Smackdown in Times Square. Number 5, can anybody defeat Superboy? Sounds like promos for wrestling. The fight to save Kid Flash in 6. Now it's time to rescue Superboy in number 7. And then in number 8, it's the prelude to the color. So that was a good pickup, I think. It was like 10 or 15 bucks for those 7 books. The new 52 books did kind of pick up some steam across the different story arcs during COVID, that everybody was kind of treating this as a good way to dive back in. And then the other lot that I picked up on is some Batman books. So I've got Batman 687, Batman 688, which I think has a pretty cool cover. It's Batman Reborn. I also like the cover on this one too, on 689. I just kind of like the faded sketch that's not a full-fledged sketch looking variant, but I enjoyed that. 690. I don't know who this red dude is. It looks like Carnage from the Marvel Universe. 697, the reveal of the Black Mask. And then a pretty sweet Joker cover in 698. So Batman, even in a world where I'm kind of trending in looking at more and more indie characters, or more and more indie runs. I've found as my my Marvel pull list has kind of decreased post quarantine, my DC pull list has increased, and I've just kind of enjoyed reading older Batman books. So I think Batman will be one of those characters who, maybe I'll try and get some full runs from. So the SLAB. You can tell by the back. It feels weird to hold this because it's my first SLAB. You see the Kubert School advertisement, so that means that it's one thing and one thing only. It's a DC book. The grade on it is a 9.8, so pretty cool that my first SLAB is the virtual perfect that I've seen the 9.9s and the 10s that pop up on a couple of books, and I've heard all of those select stories as to how it's a hard cardstock cover, it's at a convention and it's graded at the convention, so that it couldn't be flawed or misjudged. So my first SLAB to add to my collection, here we go, we'll go over here to avoid the glare, is the Francisco Mattina variant on Batman number 90, this kind of dope, creepy looking Riddler cover. This is the first full appearance of the designer. It's the origin story of the designer. I really like what they were doing with the designer storyline. I know there were a lot of people who didn't like the reveal of, who the designer was at the most recent Batman book. I loved that book start to finish, and I think it was a very, very interesting way to kind of see the ramp up, the turn up to 10 for the beginning of the Joker War. I am lucky enough to have a lot of the Mattina variants from the Deceased run and the Unkillables run, where those were some of the ones that were just left behind at my shop, or I found them really, really, really cheap online. So with some of those titles, if there is a Mattina variant, I probably won't buy the A cover and the Mattina variant. I'll just pick up the Mattina. I think I ended up paying something like $52 for this SLAB, and in checking the value of it on Go Collect, I'm aware that the current value of a 9.8 is something like $40, but when you take into account the fees that will be associated with getting the book shipped and graded and all of that stuff to CGC, I think if there's anything, there's probably room for growth for some of it. And even if it's not a SLAB where it's like, haha, I found my $1 billion book that I can retire on in 30 years. It's a character I enjoy. It's from a writer who I really enjoy, that, James Tynion is one of those people who I've just consumed everything that he's read and not found anything that I've radically disliked with it. So it's one of those things that if the goal of a SLAB is, for value in times, or it's to preserve something that may have sentimental value in the long term, then to have a Mattina variant as the first SLAB that makes it to my house, to have it be a character that, I will have always had some knowledge of, and now I can get back into the book-based lore of all things Batman. Third, my son loves Batman, so this could be something that, maybe as it does hopefully appreciate, it's something that could give to him someday when I know that he's not going to leave it on his floor to have the Roomba run over it, or his younger siblings to trample on it, or he uses it as a stepping stool. That maybe it's something that, since it has sentimental attachment to me from the author, the character, and the cover artist, then it could be something cool to pass to him, when I'm ready to part with it. So until next time, I'm Remy, the comic book poser. Hit that like button, give me a subscription. If you'll see the little card pop up over here with information on how to enter the 100 subscriber giveaway. And with that, as always, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.